A very good evening to you. Welcome to the Monday edition of Uctv News. I'm Sunday Gloria Abwatch. President Yoweri Museveni has revealed that his one-year leadership as the chair of the third South Summit of the G77 plus China will focus on three issues that include production of goods and services, market and infrastructure. He disclosed this while officiating at the closure of the G77 and China that started yesterday at Speak Convention Center. Munyonyo saying that Uganda has indigenous production schemes that include cattle, coffee, bananas, fish, among others, hence calling upon them to remain cooperative in producing goods and services as they increase production through industries. President Museveni urged them to ensure that they link producers of goods and services with the consumer through infrastructure that include roads, electricity, among others. He thus urged member states to ensure peace and stability in their countries because it's the only way to achieve the major targets. The third South Summit of the G77 and China has been driven under the theme, leaving no one behind. And now the G77 plus China summit had opening remarks from the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and Ambassador Denis Francis, the UN General Assembly President. Take a look.
It is a pleasure to join you for this very important summit. I thank the government of Uganda for its hospitality and congratulate it on the leadership of the G77 plus China. 60 years ago, recognizing the need for unity and solidarity in the face of common challenges, the G77 was born. Over the decades, you have been an engine for South-South cooperation and development, lifted millions of people out of poverty, and provided a powerful voice for developing countries on the global stage. Today, you are the largest grouping of the Global South, representing 80% of the world's population. And your solidarity and partnership are essential to building a sustainable, peaceful, and just world for all. A world in which the United Nations Charter, international law, and human rights prevail in global relations. Excellencies, halfway to the 2030 deadline for the Sustainable Development Goals, far from leaving no one behind, we are leaving half the world behind. Progress on poverty and hunger is stalling, and in some countries going into reverse. Many G77 members are grappling with an economic hangover from the COVID-19 pandemic, crippling debts, a cost of living crisis, and sky borrowing costs. Hundreds of millions of people around the world, particularly women and girls, are living without the most basic respect for their human rights, and the lack of jobs is generating enormous frustration among young people. Climate disasters, most of you did little to create, are knocking chunks out of your economies and increasing people's suffering. Investment in sustainable development and climate action is slipping further out of reach. And while South-South cooperation is strong and deepening, it does not replace the need for the respect of the commitment of the global North, for sustained engagement to reduce poverty and inequality, support growth, and build resilience in developing countries. Digital technologies have enormous potential for good, but they are also inflaming inequalities. The International Monetary Fund warns that artificial intelligence could make things even worse. And peace, the foundation of sustainable development, is breaking down amidst a climate of global impunity. Around the world, from Sudan to Ukraine, the Middle East and beyond, wars are devastating lives, fueling mass movements of people, disrupting global supply chains, and threatening to set entire regions alight. In Gaza, Israel's military operations have spread massive destruction and killed civilians on a scale unprecedented during my time as Secretary General, including more than 150 members of our own staff, following the horrific terror attacks by Hamas on 7 October. This is heartbreaking and utterly unacceptable. The Middle East is a tinderbox. We must do all we can to prevent conflict igniting across the region. And that starts with an immediate humanitarian ceasefire to relieve the suffering in Gaza, allow humanitarian aid to reach everyone in need, and facilitate the release of hostages, which should be immediate and unconditional. The repeated refusal yesterday to accept the two-state solutions for Israeli and Palestinians is totally unacceptable, as I told the summit of the non-aligned movement. The denial of the right to statehood for the Palestinian people would indefinitely prolong a conflict that has become a major threat to global peace and security, exacerbate polarization, and embolden extremists everywhere. Excellencies, righting our troubled world depends on effective global action. Yet the international system is out of date, out of time, and out of step, reflecting a bygone age when many of your countries were still colonized. The United Nations Security Council is paralyzed by geopolitical divisions, and its composition does not reflect the reality of today's world. It must be reformed. And the global financial system, including the Bretton Woods institutions, have failed to provide a global safety net for developing countries in distress, as it was created after the Second World War in a totally different global economic situation. Yet, amidst all this gloom, there is hope. Last year, the SDG Summit issued a strong political declaration thanks in large part to the advocacy and tenacity of G77 countries. And this year, we have an opportunity to build on that success. The Summit of the Future, to be held in New York in September, is a generational opportunity. It aims to reform and revitalize multilateralism so that it works for everyone, everywhere, and meets the challenges of today.
I feel both honored and privileged to address this august convocation on behalf of the General Assembly of the United Nations. Let me begin by conveying my sincere appreciation to His Excellency President Museveni and to the government of Uganda for hosting this third South Summit, a momentous event highlighting the unshakable commitment of the G77 and China to advancing multilateralism and global cooperation as the centerpiece for achieving the noble goals of the United Nations. Uganda's assumption of the chairmanship coincides with the group's 60th anniversary. I have no doubt that with such capable leadership, Uganda will confidently carry forth the torch of leadership for a prosperous, united, and stronger South. I should also like to recognize and commend the outgoing dynamic chair, Cuba, for its extraordinary and insightful leadership of the group during these trying times of geopolitical tensions and multifaceted challenges. Excellencies, our world is confronted by a confluence of crises, from the lingering impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic to rising inflation, from a worsening crisis of debt distress to the harsh realities of climate change, which for many, especially the most vulnerable, is a real existential threat. In parallel, escalating geopolitical tensions, wars, and conflicts have risen to the fore, shattering the lives of millions and putting the safety and security of the entire planet at risk. At the forefront of these is the harrowing humanitarian catastrophe in the Gaza Strip. Generations of families suffering irreparable trauma and loss, children undergoing amputations without anesthesia, entire neighborhoods reduced to rubble in one fell swoop. With half the population facing starvation and tens of thousands dead in just over 100 days, the world is looking to the United Nations for answers. The General Assembly has not sat idly in the face of this crisis. It has been both active and ambitious, often led by this very group of member states. It has demanded an immediate humanitarian ceasefire for all parties to comply with their obligations under international law and for the immediate release of all hostages and humanitarian access. I assure you that I shall not tire of reiterating these urgent demands, and I will do so for as long as it takes. I count on the collective leadership of this group to do the same. In tandem, we are witnessing mounting frustration with and the complete rejection of an unjust world order which continuously relegates the interests of the Global South to the margins of the international community's lists of priorities. Now more than ever, the G77 and all nations must come together and build bridges of dialogue, hope, and cooperation to create a more fair, more just, and more prosperous world for all. Your presence here today as leaders of the Global South underscores the fact that the Group of 77 and China, as the largest and most diverse group in the United Nations, has a pivotal role to play in shaping a new world order that is more inclusive and leaves no one and no country behind. While our challenges today are profound and perverse, the reality is that we have been struggling for quite some time. Several developing countries had already veered off course in their pursuit of the Sustainable Development Goals, even prior to the pandemic and the extant conflicts we see today. Not surprisingly, the most vulnerable of our societies have borne the brunt of these adverse external events, with countless pushed back into hunger and poverty. And environmental emergencies, including climate change, have only grown in severity and impact year on year without robust and adequate climate action for course correction. Against this backdrop, our cherished multilateral system, the policy apparatus for problem-solving international cooperation, is facing an acute crisis, with legitimate questions of current relevance and credibility arising and intensifying time and again. Purposeful dialogue, solidarity, and cooperation are in retreat, clearing an opportunistic path for divisive forces that breathe paralysis and disaffection. We are quite literally at a fork in the road. We must therefore seize the opportunity of summits such as this to rededicate ourselves to the core values and principles that remain as relevant and compelling today as they ever were.
Away from the G77 plus China summit, the Uganda People's Defense Forces have so far completed 89 projects out of the 149 that were handed to them by various institutions. This has been disclosed by the Chief of Defense Forces, General Wilson Mbasumbadi, at the Uganda Media Center ahead of the 43rd Tarehe Sita anniversary celebrations that will be held on the 6th of February at Busesa Bugweri District Headquarters under the theme celebrating the people's struggle for unity, security and peace for socio-economic transformation.
And I think by now we have been to all the regions of Uganda. And so this time we decided on Busoga so that we can thank the people of Busoga because they are the backbone of our security. And we also want to express solidarity with the people and symbolically give back to the population by doing certain activities for the benefit of the population, and also reaffirm the strategic link between us and the population. Yes, Mao Zedong of China, who said that the army is the fish and the people are the ocean or lake, if you want. So without the people, it means that there is no lake, and if there is no lake, I don't know whether the fish will survive. So the people, because nothing done outside the mandate and interests of Ugandans can endure any test. UPDF has a busy week, which we normally call the Defense Forces Week, of such activities throughout the country, in all places where our units will be. And during these events, we sacrifice the little at our disposal to remind ourselves, and indeed the members of the public, that we are with them. The CIMIC activities that we shall be handling during this Defense Forces Week, among others, are sanitation, civil engineering activities, medical outreach programs of to include circumcision, eye clinics, and so on.
Now, 53 people will be receiving medals on the 38th NRM Liberation Day that is usually celebrated on the 26th of January every year. This has been disclosed by the Minister for Presidency, Millie Babalanda, while speaking to press at the Uganda Media Center, saying that these will be rewarded for their tremendous efforts in liberating this country. The event will take place at St. John Secondary School, Wakitaka Playground in Jinja, Northern Division, Jinja City, and the theme, Building a Country with a Cherish Change.
Medals handed out to 53 deserving personalities. One of the medalists will be the former Chabazing of Busoga, His Royal Highness Henry Wakomloch Obe, who contributed greatly and largely in the external world. The NOC has extended invitations, that is National Organizing Committee, has extended invitations to not more than 800 dignitaries to be sat in the presidential tent in strict observance to the COVID-19 standard operating procedures. The above notwithstanding, the Jinja City leadership will mobilize the general public in big numbers who will not require invitation cards and COVID-19 tests to attend the celebrations. These will be seated in the 5,000 seater. The National Organizing Committee has not received any indications of state visitors to grace the occasion. Most of the presidents have been around, and it is the reason why His Excellency didn't extend invitations, because we do still have them here within the country. Security agencies have put in place the necessary security measures to secure the venue of the celebrations. The Uganda Police Force is responsible for the overall security at the venue before during and after the celebrations. However, they are supported by specialized units like the UPDF, ESO, as well as the Special Forces Command, that is SFC. The program for the traffic will be communicated to you by the...
Still in our local stories, local leaders and residents of Mpondwe Lubidiha Town Council in Kasese District have expressed their dissatisfaction with UNRA over failure to construct broken bridge of Mpondwe that connects the DRC to Uganda. The mayor, Mpondwe Lubidiha Town Council, Sylvester Mapoze, said he has been disappointed with UNRA that has failed to construct the Mpondwe bridge that connects Uganda with the DRC.
In Mpondwe Lubidiha Town Council, this is a very busy town in Uganda, in the western part of the country, and we have had this challenge of this bridge. It seemed as if the bridge was going to be worked on very fast. UNRA team came here and started working, but since the Christmas break season until now, there are no works that are going on. And the congestion in town here, because of this small bridge that they put here as temporarily, is just affecting business running here. So it's an appeal to government in the area, or to the Minister of Works, to request UNRA officials, engineers who are responsible to work on this bridge, to come and expedite the works to be done so that the bridge is completed. That's it. Otherwise, challenges are coming up in Mpondwe because of delays in business, congestion. So many accidents are happening here during the market days on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
They start constructing the bridge because the challenges that we are facing there, other people that are losing their money, vehicles are getting accidents, they are knocking people using dirty, narrow road. These motor men, they are getting problems, they are knocking them because the road is narrow. When they try to at least to fix themselves to pass, use that route, we are combating. No, we are failing. When you meet the trailers, as we taxi drivers, you know ours is small, and when you meet a big vehicles, that's why we find some jam and misunderstanding between the border men and we taxi operators. Muhendo Joaquim, born of Kasese, Bwera, Karambi sub-county. The challenge that we are facing here, we as drivers, taxi drivers of Mpondwe, on the issues of the bridge, there is one. We are facing a lot of problems because, you know, nowadays it is dry season. So when you see these people of UNRA, they are not supporting us at least to spray this road that they constructed, where we are using as an emergency road. And we don't know what plan that they have. Their machine is working on the bridge, but we are not seeing anything going on. So we request the government to come in and help us on the issues of constructing our bridge, such as that we start operating as well as possible if they can manage to help us. So we are requesting the government to come in to see what's the problem. Why is it that the people of UNRA are not working? What is the problem between the government and the UNRA? Because for we people of Kasese, we are stuck. We don't know what is going on.
Thank you so much. You're watching the Uganda Catholic Television. I'm Sunday Gloria. Let's take a look at today in history. You are watching UCTV News that is taking a very short break, and we'll be back with the Rome reports.
UCTV, good news for all.
Catch incredible stories of resilience, success.
You can manage that money
with a topping of inspiration.
Get interested in people, not interested in yourself.
Inspire, achieve, repeat.
You are watching UCTV, good news for all. For this and more, tune in to Kasese Get Radio 100.5 in Western Region, located at the hill of the Diocese of Kasese. KGR brings you all Catholic programs and an advertising platform in all our radio shows like Good Morning Renzori, Chama Towoka, Ukute, the business show, Propeller, the request show and sports, Evaluation, Bahinga Bakuluka, Late Night Show, and many others. Our other services include Isuzu Tipa, a no car, public address system, live band, Omokekera, an audio recording studio, and outside live broadcast. For more information, call 0773-597-166 or visit our website www.kasesegetradio.com. Kasese Get Radio, Omusondoria, the voice of truth.
It's unbelievable. Now, companies, businesses, and organizations can make bulk payments easily with Centenary Bank's corporate center SWIFT to anyone without the need of a bank account, anywhere, anytime, just like that. The recipient needs only their phones, national ID, and token number received via SMS to withdraw money from any center agent nearby. The Centenary Bank's corporate center SWIFT is simple, secure, and convenient. You think it's too good to be true? Visit any of our branches countrywide or visit www.centenarybank.co.ug to know more. Centenary Bank. Centenary Bank is a member center group regulated by the Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits of up to 10 million shillings are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda. Terms and conditions apply.
UCTV, good news for all.
And with that segment ends our Monday edition of UCTV News. I am Sunday Gloria Aboch. Have the best of the evening.